Let's get to Jordan Peterson, which is another person that I was right on the money on a very long time ago when people used to yell at me over that too. If you go back all the way to the Young Turks days, I made videos about Jordan Peterson being a right-wing douchebag, and people used to yell at me all the time for that too. They were like, how dare you say that? He's a liberal. You're just jealous of his clout and his Canadian sex appeal.
Percentage of those people that are violating all those things that you said, because they do manipulate and they do rely on fear. Like,
well, you know, Nietzsche was an advocate of the will to power, right?
Oh, here we go. Nietzsche! This is washed, buddy. See, 201,000 views in one day only. I'm telling you, this kind of commentary, okay, the pseudo-intellectual, centrist right-wing takes had a moment. That moment is gone. That was Gamergate. That was like early Trump. That's when there was this attitude where they were like, oh, we just want like brilliant intellectual right-wing commentators that pull us in and say that they're actually liberal, but you know, they're on the side of objective neutrality. They're on no side, right? It's gone. Nobody wants a goofy ass anti-SJW who's an academic. They want to hear main vein, straight piped, alpha dog wearing the tightest suit that you've ever seen. They still wear clownish suits, by the way, but just a different style of clownish suits. You know, they want to look like the most Talladega car dealer you've ever seen. Dudes who just look like they are selling cars at a car dealership in Fort Lauderdale, okay? That say stuff like, women ain't and they deserve less. That's what these guys want to hear. That's what the youth, the conservative movement wants to hear. They want to hear about Jews and how they're responsible for everything that's happened. Like everything that's happened throughout history, it's somehow always back to the Jews. Like that's what they want to hear now. They want the main They went from experimenting with some uppers every now and then to just straight piping crack cocaine, okay?
You can imagine that there's a variety of potential motivating forces, and one would be...
And Jordan knows that too. He calls them the woke right. That's what they're trying to astroturf here. Jordan Peterson has gone full woke, sad to see. No. I'm not even talking about him. These guys are on the anti-Semitic right. Jordan Peterson is on the pro-Israel and... I mean, he is a little anti-Semitic as well, but he's on the pro-Israel side. These guys are on the anti-Israel, but also Jews side, okay?
They'd rather be Andrew Tate than an incel. And they're right? It's best to
You're
get...
a nerd, big dog. You're a goddamn nerd, okay? Oh, Andrew Tate, these children, they want to be Andrew Tate. Exactly. You designed the environment for these f***ing incels to move away from you to Andrew Tate, okay? Also, Andrew Tate fans are incels. I don't think you could be like a normal guy and be that invested in Andrew Tate.
Well, and women are the gatekeepers, fundamentally, of sex. So that's their essential power. That's also the power of chastity.
And that's the scary thing about acquiring wealth, is that wealth allows you to bypass the genetic social hierarchy.
Yeah, well, I talked to Russell Brand about this a lot. You know, women threw themselves at him.
Wait, he's homies with Russell Brand? Wait, so like this literally is just about Israel, I think. Because Russell Brand is the worst of the worst, is also an anti-intellectual grifter in the same vein as like the Andrew Tates of the world, but just like a different seasoning on it. But he seems to be pro-Israel. A lot of these other guys are not only anti-Israel, but also anti-Semitic. I think for most of these dudes, I'm a little surprised. I thought that their gripe was with the anti-intellectual branch of the right wing, which is, of course, all reactionary and, of course, anti-intellectual across the board. It's just simply that these guys present themselves as intellectuals. JP talked about lipstick in the workplace like it was a Hitler mustache. He is 100% a lame Andrew Tate. Oh my God, that's such a banger quote. Exactly. He does. He hates women just as much as Andrew Tate does. You're so right. You're so right. I'm kind of falling for the that he's presenting here for a second. Yeah, he is just as much as a vicious woman hater as Andrew Tate is. What the are we talking about? He just doesn't have the broy vibes that people respond to. That's it. He's also a boring nerd who tries to intellectualize the hatred that he has for women.
Why should you wear makeup in the workplace? Isn't that sexually provocative?
No.
It's not?
No.
Well, what is it then? What's the purpose of makeup?
Some people would like to just put on makeup.
Why?
I don't know why.
Why do you make your lips red? Because they turn red during sexual arousal. That's why. Why do you put rouge on your cheeks? Same reason.
I mean, look.
How about high heels?
What are they for? About high heels?
What about them? They're there to exaggerate sexual attractiveness. That's what high heels do.
They wear rouge to be able to attract these harlots. They wear rouge, Joe, to attract men in the workplace. We don't know if women in the workplace are good. We simply do not know. There hasn't been enough time to make this assessment. Do women deserve less? Alexander Solzhenitsyn had a wonderful take in the Gulag Archipelago, as opposed to Myron from Fed and Fat going to a college campus and sitting there in front of a panel that says women deserve less, change my mind. These two arguments are the same. It's just he's a lame ass boring nerd who is trying to intellectualize his perspective, and Myron is too stupid to do that. He's even dumber than Jordan Peterson. He doesn't want to do the pseudo intellectual shit. He also knows not to say, Jews are responsible for all the evil of society. He's too smart for that, of course. Not to say that he doesn't think that. I'm sure he is not exactly fond of Jews either. He just is, smart enough to hide his actual opinion about Jews. And he's pro-Israel openly, and probably also just pro-Israel in general. This is not different than what this douchebag is doing on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, this is the logical conclusion of douchebags like this. He's just a woman Jews that he really hates. The dragon of chaos is at the heart, not of a shiksa, but instead a temptress, one of the faith, responsible for the original sin. Joe! Actually, the dragon of chaos is a shiksa as well. Oh, I hate all women, Joe. Let me tell you, Joe, let me tell you about my grandmother's pubes.
Not great. It threw him into great spiritual confusion. It was empty and hollow. And that's worth knowing, you see, because you might say to the people who are interested in the shadow figures, and Tate plays that role, the master of women.
Tate your daughter, dude. What are you talking about? He straight piped Jordan Peterson's daughter for a while, okay? He is almost directly responsible for Andrew Tate. That's old lore. Y'all forgot about that. I didn't. Let me tell you something about the Dragon of Chaos, okay? His daughter almost killed him because of his benzo addiction. He wanted to quit. He wanted to quit benzos, okay? Jordan Peterson. And he couldn't do the normal way for some reason. I don't know why. So his daughter was like, let's go do this experimental way to quit benzos in, I think it was either like Russia or Serbia or something like that. I don't know where it was. I think they had to go do it in literally Russia because they wouldn't do it in the Western world. The Western world, they were like, no, we are not doing cold turkey benzo withdrawals. You will die. So he almost died then, okay? He went to Russia and he almost died. So then they moved his body to Serbia when he was in a coma in the middle of COVID, and his daughter was gallivanting with Andrew Tate, getting by Andrew Tate and hanging out at hookah clubs, and brought COVID back to Jordan B. Peterson's home as he was comatose. You're saying that as if she's not hot? Come the fuck on. No, I mean, yeah, Andrew Peterson. Jordan Peterson's daughter is attractive. I admit that for sure. I remember I was a massive JBP follower back in the day, and then I found you, and for a while I followed you both, even though I knew about your JBP takedown video, till one day I watched it, and that's the moment it clicked that he was a deep. What the Chinese think of Jordan Peterson? Hot knowledge. This Peterson beast, once hid in Russia for drug rehabilitation due to prescription drug addiction, his most famous achievement is to go crazy on Twitter late at night, such as forwarding stills from a special fetish love action movie and claiming that it was a live shot of a sperm extraction factory in China. Learning self-discipline from him is like learning to be low-key from Musk and being humble from Trump. Gay Chinese netizens popping off, dude. Shut the f*** up. That's literally the image that he posted, but not with his daughter in front of it. But yeah, he posted that and was like, this is what they're doing in China. And they were like, dude, that's a milking factory.
Let's say, why not do that? Because you need an answer to that. If it's certainly when it's better than being lonely, isolated, bitter, and ineffectual. That's right. For sure.
Right.
Well, it's because you don't confuse a stepping stone with the pinnacle. That's why. There's way more beyond that. I mean, you're a tough guy. You went through your disciplinary processes on the physical side, in particular, the intellectual side too, I might add.
Just say that he worked out, man. Like, what do you mean? Just say that he worked out. You went through the interdisciplinary process on the physical side.
You know, you've got what Tate has to offer, but you're what? You're respectable. Why?
Well, I have a completely different background than him, first of all. And also, my feeling in life is whenever you can, be nice. That's like a general guideline.
Do you mean nice or good?
I mean both.
Okay.
Nice as well. I get the posturing. I get how it would be attractive to young men. I get it. If I was a young man, I would certainly be drawn to him, and I was to many fighters. And I accepted a lot of personality flaws in people that I admired as fighters because they were very successful at doing this one insanely difficult thing.
Right.
And oftentimes...
That's true. After JP woke up from his coma, like 2 months later, he crashed out over Elliot Page, called the doctor that did his top surgery a butcher, and got hired by the Daily Wire. And it's kind of funny because he literally said that doctors who perform gender confirmation surgeries on consenting adults are akin to Mengele, okay? He said doctors that perform gender confirmation surgeries on trans people that are consenting adults are doing Holocaust-style experimentation. He is a psycho.
The next thing that happens in the Jungian stage progression is, for a man, it's integration of the anima, which is the feminine part. And it's integration, it's not replacement. It's like, oh, well, then you discover the utility of empathy and compassion and kindness and mercy and care, while still being able to deal out justice, let's say. And so then you bridge that gap, and then that integration, you just said, even among fighters, that's what puts them in the highest place. Right? That's right. That's right. So, but it's hard for the people, it's hard for those who are completely disaffected and also quite angry about it. You know, the people who are interested in the pathway that Tate offers, they're not so unhappy that he's hard on women, because they're pretty mad at women. And so, you know, if it's the bitch or me, then I'll pick me.
Right.
You know, right, exactly. And so, and it is very crucial to get this progression correct, because monster's better than wimp. Right. But the question is, what's better than monster?
This is so boring. Yeah, here it is. After Peterson finished his treatment in Russia, they went to Florida and eventually ended up in Serbia, where Michaela gave her entire family COVID, hospitalizing Jordan yet again.